Right now, there are hundreds of unfinished apartment towers across China.
Social media footage shows crowds protesting in front of the offices of the Chinese real estate developer Evergrande.
Weaker than expected growth out of China is adding to an increasingly bleak economic picture around the world.
China's economic growth is set to fall behind the rest of Asia for the first time since 1990.
Now the big risk comes from property, where developers are crumbling under mountains of debt.
Analysts fear the crisis could spread throughout China's property sector and the entire economy.
Disasters that appear natural but are indeed man-made are breaking the back of Chinese economy. The Communist Party is paranoid. It is obsessed with internal security.
So the question is, will the Chinese government step in?
There is no other way to describe it. China's financial situation is terrible. You have probably seen a lot of videos lately about China, and we have even done a few ourselves, about how its economy is struggling or how China could be on the edge of catastrophic collapse. Videos circulating from China demonstrate just how horrible things may be. Thousands of apartments are being demolished as a result of developers going bankrupt, or major protests begins against banks as billions of dollars in savings vanished, with even robot dogs patrolling cities to keep the peace. But why is this all taking place in the first place? Hello there, and once again, welcome back to Finance Insights. We are back with another video about China's economic crisis. Stay till the end of the video for an in-depth analysis of China's current position. Let's begin. So, why is China's economy suffering so much? It has everything to do with 3 Ds. 3 events that have never occurred together in history. Until now, the 3D might herald the end of China's thriving economy, as well as financial upheaval in the West. The reality is that the 3Ds determine whether or not China's economy survives, one of which few people are aware of. So let's get into it. But first, as we have indicated in previous Chinese films, the CCP may be utilizing bots to match this type of content, which is crucial for the nation in order to surpass it. As a result, we would appreciate if you give this video a quick like. With that out of the way, let's move on to the 3Ds. The first is the well-known factor affecting China's economy. The first D stands for debt. Debt, the majority of which is secured by real estate. China's major issue is that property accounts for roughly 30% of the country's wealth. If the market was functioning properly, this wouldn't be so bad. Unfortunately, due to a severe real estate crisis, this is not the case. Chinese developers are going bankrupt or unable to complete projects, and the country's largest property developer, Evergrande, is frequently skipping debt repayments, resulting in the seizure of its $1.2 billion Hong Kong headquarters by creditors. With constructions in China on hold, hundreds of thousands of individuals are refusing to pay their mortgages, causing even less money to go to developers. Some developers are so in debt that they are choosing to demolish thousands of half-finished apartments, which is regarded less expensive and dangerous than continuing to build. However, it is a solution that it is also leaving thousands of people homeless. That's the first D. Let's go on to the second D, which is disease. Since the worldwide health crisis a few years ago, China has implemented some of the tightest lockdowns on the planet, and it is still forcing inhabitants to stay in their residence for months on end, forcing them to rely on government's food drops to survive this year. As you would think, this hasn't gone well with the public. However, forcing entire district to remain at home for extended period of time is harming China's economy. Factories are running low or no capacity due to a lack of staff. Indeed, it is believed that almost 13% of China's total GDP is currently under lockdown due to the country's current health policies. As a result, many goods are in limited supply. China exports less goods, resulting in much lower national income. Manufacturing has recently taken a hit, but fewer goods also means fewer products for the overseas market to buy. Bidding wars have developed among foreign countries, with each attempting to claim as much of the reduced supplies as possible. And since we rely so much on the Chinese goods, the price of practically everything we consume is rising. In the end, this raises the cost of the life for almost everyone on the planet. Long story short, because of highly severe lockdowns, China is producing less things, and less stuff leaving the nation means buyers are racing for what's left, driving up cost. We would love to hear about most of the dramatic prices increase you have witnessed in your nation for specific products. Please let us know in the comment section. But in any case, I believe this demonstrates that the CCP's regulation may result in comprehensive control over how China's economy operates, and that the CCP has absolutely control over virtually every aspect of Chinese life. One of the primary strategies by which China has maintained so much control over its people is through digital surveillance, often using quite unscrupulous methods. Chinese beliefs, for example, have been accused of employing malware to spy on the people's phone, granting them complete access to a citizen's data. So we only have one D left, and it's about something that most people haven't even heard about in China. The third D is drought, and China is currently undergoing one of its worst droughts in history, the Yangtze. China's largest river is currently at its lowest level ever, at least since records began in 1865. This is a major issue for China's industrial endeavors. Water is used extensively in about 90% of China's electrical production, mostly to keep hydroelectric power facilities functioning. With little water, power plants are functioning at a fraction of their capacity, and there are frequent blackouts, which means China's factories are being shut down or interrupted more than ever before, further affecting supply chains in China and overseas. Droughts have affected around half of China's total rice crop, raising severe concerns about the future of China's food security as well as the supply of the food that China exports to the rest of the world. Okay, so these are all the three indicators that illustrate how vulnerable China's economy is right now and how near it could be a serious catastrophe. But what is going on in China may appear to be far away. It has a far greater impact on us than we could ever anticipate. China is the world's second largest economy, and its going slum will have huge repercussions for the rest of the global economy. We have already seen consequences in the West, such as supply shortage and rising costs, but the main way we will be affected by bad economic effects in China is through investments. Most Western banks, insurance firms, and pension funds have extensively invested in China, which means that your money is almost certainly invested in the country. So, if China does poorly, your money suffers, potentially wiping out trillions of dollars from pension and investment funds in Europe, the United States, Australia, and elsewhere. Something that has already begun to occur. This Chinese slowdown has already begun to damage employment in the West. As a result, companies such as Peloton, Snapchat, and Substack have already laid off up to 20% of their workforce, adding to job insecurity and rising unemployment in the West. This is why we recommend that you do everything you can right now to pay off your obligations while also investing more of your money into hard assets such as metals, gold, and silver. Beyond that, we feel the best thing you can do is educate yourself on what is going on in the world. Let us know how the Chinese economic collapse has impacted your country in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, you might also enjoy the recent video we did about the China and the housing crisis happening there. Also, do subscribe to Financial Insights. We'd love to have you part of this community. We'll see you again in the next one.